Okay, I'm ready to start with the cooking now. Sun's going to be going down soon, so I'll start up the fire. I've got some cotton wool and Vaseline in there and plenty of dry tinder, and then I've got a few stacks of different diameter wood for when it gets going I can keep it running. I normally cook on either this grill, which I've put some hooks on, 3 hooks on here, which I can hook onto this chain hanging off this piece of wood, and by hooking it onto different sections of the chain I can raise or lower it depending on how hot the fire is, or whether I'm just keeping the food warm or cooking it through. Or if I'm not using that grill, I use a cast iron skillet and just stick it directly on the coals when I get some coals going nice and warm. I cook on that quite often, so I'll make a start on the fire now, and then I couldn't find my fire steel today when I was putting my stuff together for the camping, so I'm cheating and using matches. And with all the dead wood around here just lying around on the ground, I can always get a fire going fairly quickly. I keep some in a stack at the side of the camp under a piece of plastic so it's vaguely dry even if it's been raining for a few days before I come up here. Normally I don't get the fire going until it's dark, because the campfire is so much nicer in the dark. But today I'm hungry, so I need to get this going so I can have some food. Just a minute later and the fire's roaring away. I managed to put the larger pieces on there, so hopefully they'll catch, and in a little while it will burn down to coals and I'll be able to cook over it. The dry stuff around here catches and burns really quick. Within a few minutes all your tinder's gone and it's hot. But this should be pretty good for my dinner tonight. I'm having some kebabs and some pork loin steaks, I think, I picked up on the way in here. They've got to be cooked up because in this hot weather they'll soon go off. I've got them in a cool bag with some ice packs, but I want to get them cooked up now because they'll be no good tomorrow. So my first course is ready now. I've got a pork loin here with some salad, onion, mushrooms, gherkins. The kebabs are there cooking away slowly on the grill. So that's the end of the day for me, and I'll see you in the morning. Cheers. I said I'd do a quick look over some of the gear I bring with me when I go out camping to my woods. So I've brought a few items here to show you. This I mentioned before was a Pentagon Atlas bag. I bought this because it's got a big main compartment really. It's not really a rucksack, although it does have straps. It's more a sort of piece of luggage, a luggage bag. So it's got the big grab handle here, and if you take that off, then you can put it on your back like that. It's also got a grab handle there, but as you might have noticed at the start of the video, when I actually put it on, my arms got caught in the straps there, so it's not a brilliant design. I'm not entirely sure what they expect you to do with these straps. There's nowhere to put these away, so they sort of dangle to the side if you've actually got this on your back. But if it's in the normal sort of grab handle layout, then these straps don't get in the way. if you do have it on your back, it's surprisingly comfortable. There's a decent amount of padding in there, so even if you've got some sharp objects, then they won't dig into your back too much. There is a little pocket here, a pocket in the back, so that if you're not using these straps, you can take the strap off and slip it down inside the pocket so they don't get in the way. As far as the compartments go, on each end it's got a small pocket, probably about the size of a hardback book in there, and a similar one at the other end as well. I've got my little snug pack pillow in here. My little pillow fits in there quite nicely. So there's only those two external pockets really, apart from that little sleeve to put the straps in. But if you were using this to travel on a train or a plane, then those end pockets would be quite useful for your documents or things you want to get hold of straight away. And then the main compartment opens up with one big flap. So you've got a big flap there, and there's loads of room inside. There's another pocket here on the inside, a mesh one. You can fit loads of stuff in there, and there's the padding there for your back. And the inside, you can see how big it is. It's 70 litres in total. So I've got my axe and saw in there, and I could fit a roll mat in there with space for my sleeping bag as well at the bottom. So you can see how long it is. And then I've got my thermarest in there, and a couple of dry sacks with spare clothes in, and there's still loads more room in there. So it's a 70 litre pack, so that's pretty decent really. For shorter distances it would be fine to carry on your back, but obviously for longer distances, if you're actually hiking, it's not an ideal pack, especially with these flapping around. One last thing to mention is that it has got a rubberized base, so if the ground's wet or dirty at your campsite, then at least it won't all soak through the bottom of the bag and get everything inside wet. I presume that means it's not actually waterproof. Again, it's called the Pentagon Atlas. It cost me about 44 quid, which is, I don't know, $50 maybe. So that's that particular piece of kit. If I took down my bow, this is a Mybo Rio, took the limbs off, I'll be able to fit that inside there as well, so that's quite handy. As far as the filming of this video goes, normally I film with this Canon 1300D. It's great for stills, it's a digital SLR, but as you might have noticed, for video it's not ideal, especially when I'm zooming in and out and trying to focus. You get like, the noise of the motor is not ideal. So at the moment I'm filming this on my phone. I'll probably just keep this for stills. The last bit of kit here, my axe and saw, is from Ray Mears. They sell the items individually, and they also do this as a kit, and I bought it as a kit. It's not cheap. I can't remember exactly how much it was. I'll put a link in the description so you can have a look, but it's very well made. It's got this canvas sheath with a sort of paracord sling, so you can sling it over your shoulder. I think normally you carry it with the axe head down, because the axe head is the heavy bit, so it hangs naturally like that. If you try to carry it with the axe head up, it just sort of slips down like that. So it's a lot easier to carry it with the axe head down. Got a little leather toggle here, and this is the axe. It is a Ray Mears branded axe, but actually it's just his printing on there. This is a Swedish Gransfors axe, small forest axe this one's called. I think it's about 70 quid, 75 quid, which will be around $100 maybe. I've used this quite a lot around here, chopping down small trees, small limbs. It's very comfortable, well balanced, becomes razor sharp. The only thing you do have to be careful with, especially if you're using this, is if you put it away wet, you will get spots of rust, because it's a steel, not a stainless steel, it's a Swedish steel. So you will get some spots of rust, and I got this rust because it got slightly damp. I put it away, wrapped it up and forgot about it. So I do need to clean this up carefully and oil it, and you get the rust spots coming on the sheet as well. So that's the one slot for the axe. Put this little cover back on. As I say, it's razor sharp, so having that leather cover very useful. And then the second part is the saw. So it's quite a handy little saw. Probably seen something like this before. So your blade, you can replace the blade if it gets dull or rusty. I think this is a stainless steel maybe. I've not had any problem with rust on this blade anyway. Again, I've used this quite a lot for the larger diameter stuff. So you put this centre bar in the slots on the two ends. So that's the basic frame, and then to keep the tension on the saw, you wind this up. So the string on this end, as you wind this, you're putting tension on these two end points, and obviously that puts tension on the blade. So you don't want too much, because you don't want to strain the frame. So just put tension on it like that, and then got a handy little saw, and it packs nicely into that little sleeve. Again, very handy. And then to undo it, allow the tension to come out of the string, and this will pop out, and the blade itself folds into a little groove, runs along the handles, so you fold that up, and then the blade hides inside the handles. And then you can just put this crossbar there and wind that round just to keep it together, and put it back into the little sleeve. If there's anything else you want me to review, you might have seen me using during this video, then put some comments in the section below, and I'll be happy to do that in a future video. Cheers.